Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we got a good one for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about electric cars. You know, you see them all over the place, and they're telling us switch to an electric car. Well, thank you for all being here. And I want to say, you're all wonderful human beings. Thank you for coming and listening and spending your precious time with me. And all that good stuff. I hope you're enjoying things and things are going very well. May you be prosperous and healthy, wealthy, and wise, all at the same time. But tonight we're going to talk about electric cars because that's what's in the news all the time is electric. And have they been here? Well, they didn't invent them yesterday. They've been around since the 1880s. Believe it or not, that's about the same time the car got invented. And they made a motor and put it in there. But guess what? They invented electric too at the same time. So why and what is going on here? How come we don't have an electric car in our driveway right now? Well, let's find out. I got this really cool little book, and it is called 100 Things You're Not Supposed to Know. And it is really good. So here we go. And I am going to share my screen as of now. And there we go. And here we are. Electric cars have been around since the 1880s. The car of the future runs completely on electricity. No more dependence on gas. No more choking the atmosphere with fumes. Whenever the possibility of electric cars is raised, the media and other commentators over the potential. But this technology is futuristic. It's positively retro. Cars powered by electricity have been on the scene since the 1800s and actually predate gas-powered cars. A blacksmith in Vermont, Thomas Davenport, built the first rotary electric motor in 1833 and used it to power a model train. The next year, in late 1830s, Scottish inventor Robert Davison rigged a carriage with an electric motor powered by batteries. In his Pulitzer-nominated book, Taking Charge, archaeology professor and technology historian Michael Bryan Schaefer writes that this was perhaps the first electric car. After his remarks achieved, the idea of an electric car languished for decades. In 1881, a French experimenter debuted a personal vehicle that ran on electricity, a trike, 3 wheels and a seat for adults. In 1888, many inventors in the US, Britain, and Europe started creating 3- and 4-wheel vehicles, which could carry 2 to 6 people and ran on electricity. These vehicles remained principally curiosities until May 1897, when the Pope Manufacturing Company, the country's most successful bicycle maker, started selling the first commercial electric car, the Columbia Electric Phantom Mark III. It topped out at 15 miles per hour, and 2 years people could choose from an array of electrical carriages, buggies, wagons, trucks, bicycles, tricycles, and even buses and ambulances made by numerous manufacturers. New York City was home to a fleet of electric taxi cabs. Starting in 1897, the electric vehicle company eventually had over 100 of them ferrying people around the Big Apple. Soon it was unleashing electric taxis in Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, and Washington, D.C. By 1900, though, the company was in trouble, and 7 years later, it sputtered out. As for cars powered by dead dinosaurs, Austrian engineer Siegfried Marcus attached a one-cylinder motor to a cart in 1864, driving at 500 feet and thus creating the first vehicle powered by gas. This was around 25 years after Davidson had created the first electric car. It wasn't until 1895 that gas autos Converted carriages with two-cylinder engines were commercially sold, and then only in microscopic numbers. Around the turn of the century, the average car buyer had a big choice to make: electric, gas, electric, or steam. When the auto industry took form around 1895, nobody knew which type of vehicle was going to become the standard. During the last few years of the 19th century and the first few of the 20th, over 100 companies placed their bets on electricity. According to Schaefer, 28% of the 4,192 American automobiles produced in 1900 were electric. In the New York Automobile Show of that year, more electrics were on display than gasoline or steam. In the middle of the first decade of the 1900s, electric cars were on the decline, and their gas-eating cousins were surging ahead with improvements in the cars and their batteries. Though electric started a comeback in 1907, which continued through 1913, the downhill slide started the next year, and by the 1920s, the market for electrics was minuscule. To use Schaefer's word, things never got better. Many companies tried to combine the best of both approaches with cars that ran on a mix of electricity and gas. The Pope Manufacturing Company, once again in the vanguard, built a working prototype in 1898. A Belgian company and a French company each bought out commercial models the next year, beating the Toyota Prius and Honda Insight to the market by over a century. Even Ferdinand Porsche and Mercedes Company got in on the act. Unfortunately, these hybrids never really caught on. The Dickel design, which manufactures several vehicles which run on various combinations of electricity, solar power, and human power, maintains an extensive archive of the history of electric and electro-fuel cars. According to the research, around 200 companies and individuals have manufactured electric cars. Only a few familiar names are on the list, although some of them aren't familiar as car manufacturers. Studebaker, 1952 to 1966. General Electric, 1901 to 1904. Braun, 1977. Sears and Roebuck and Company, 1978. And Oldsmobile, 1896 to the present. The vast majority have long been forgotten. Electra, Puviker, Buffalo Automobile Company, Hercules, Red Bug, the new Kia Starlight, and to name a few, Henry Ford and Thomas Edison teamed up on an electric car. But although some prototypes were built, it never was commercially produced. Though they had faded from mass cultural memory, electric cars have never been completely out of production. The reasons why electrics faded into obscurity while gas cars and trucks became 99.9% dominant are complex and still being debated. If only they hadn't been sidelined, had continued to develop apace, the world would be a different place. Well, and there we go. And that is the story of the electric car. I hope you enjoyed that. Puts a different perspective on the world around you. Now remember that the electric car has been around for a long, long time, and we just have to be patient. They will get a better battery. They will do things, and I hope that, and I'm not against electric. I do like my gas-powered car, but, electric is powerful. But is Tesla the saving answer to all of this? Will Ford come up with a new, brighter, better car to and make the future go? Will GM come through and have a new car too, like the Chevy Volt? I don't know. But anyway, either way you look at it, it's going to be good. The future is bright. We are going into the future, man. Going into the future. Now remember, be the frequency you want to receive. Go out and hug somebody, shake their hand, even smile at them. Remember, be the frequency you want to receive, and everything is good. Love you all. Peace, everybody.